Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video with me, Shruti Vashist from enlightenmentcourses.com. In this video, I'm going to be answering a viewer question, and I made a video on Ascension symptoms recently, and they had a question for me. So I think that this question is a really good one, and it's going to help others who are maybe new on the path or maybe just wondering about what my particular opinion is on this subject. So I'll be speaking about that, and I'll tell you what the question is. But first, I just want to tell you that I'm in Bangalore. So as you know that I live in Delhi, but my mother and I have come to Bangalore for a few days, so that's where I am. Okay, so before we get into the video, please know that I have all kinds of courses, online courses that you can take with me, and the most recent one that I made is called Master Inner Peace. So please check it out along with all of the other courses, and the one that will apply to this video is called Embody the Fifth Dimensional Vibration, because I'll be speaking about the fifth dimensional vibration in this video. So subscribe if you're new here and give this video a thumbs up. That's how I get to know what kind of videos you would like to watch from me. And now let's jump into the question. So the question that this viewer had was that if I shift to my desired reality, I think they were talking about like a fifth dimensional reality, or embodying their ascension or the state of enlightenment basically. And so they were saying that if I shift to my desired reality, will my parents and my family be there and not their copy? And will the soul of my parents be there in that reality or not? So I think that this is a good question, because when we're walking on the path of ascension and we are moving into the fifth dimensional vibration, we often have this question, about what's going to happen to my relationships, especially because you are changing so much. So are your relationships going to change? Are they going to stay the same? What to expect? So I'm going to be talking to you about that. So the first thing that I would say is to this person is that, because you've mentioned that if you shift to your desired reality, so what is your desired reality? So the first thing I would think about would be that. So if your desired reality is the fifth dimensional vibration, which is what I speak about in all of my videos, and you responded to my video, so I'm assuming it's something like that. And the fifth dimensional vibration is the first step of towards our ascension, towards embodying the master that we are, towards enlightenment, or whatever you want to call it. And it's the first major step, because it's the first stage of this balance of the masculine and feminine inside of you, the yin and yang. So that vibration of the fifth dimension is basically balance. It's called divine love or balance, or sometimes we just call it love in the spiritual community. But essentially what it is this perfect balance of the masculine and feminine, and what it feels like inside of you is balance and harmony. So if that is what you are endeavoring towards, then just know that the fifth dimensional vibration is an overall rise in your vibration. It's a much higher level than what we know ourselves when we know ourselves as a third dimensional human being, and then we start moving into holding the vibration. It's not just about what you know, but it's about, are you able to hold it? Are you able to make the choices? Have you embodied it in your physical body? So when we start to embody the fifth dimensional vibration, it's already quite a high level of vibration than what we are used to as humans, and very few people even today, even with the potential that we have today, hold it really actually in their form. So when you actually hit that level, you experience harmony. So regardless of how your relationships change with this change that you're going through, regardless of how they're changing, just know that whatever change happens in your relationships is for the better. The relationships around you are going to align themselves to become harmonious with the new you. So the first step, of course, is for you to know what the new you is, for you to claim that, for you to live it, for you to make choices from it. And when you're doing that, some relationships around you will fall away. Now, I'm not necessarily talking about your parents. That's usually a rare case that something with your parents will fall away, but in general, I'm addressing in this video the subject of relationships, because parents are one of the key relationships we have in our lives. But you could think of the things that I'm saying in this video apply to all kinds of relationships, whether that's with a partner, husband, wife, parents, whatever it is. So our relationships will change because we have changed and our values have changed, and people around you will notice it, and you will find that they are not able to attach with you the way that they used to before. So people before would have had these more codependent sort of attachments with you. Either it's codependent or it's somehow imbalanced one way or another, like they're too involved or they're not involved in the right way in within love, basically. And if already it was I'm not saying that there isn't love in relationships, unless everybody embodies a fifth dimensional vibration, but it's not the mainstay, it's not the resident state of divine love, which is balance, which is the balance of masculine and feminine. So your relationships with your parents will change. Of course, every relationship in your life will change, and that's natural because you yourself will change a lot. However, the experience that you have of your relationships, whether they fall away from your life, whether they fall away for a bit, sometimes what happens is that people around us see that we're making different choices, and so certain people are let go of. Either you let go of them or they sort of let go. In one way or another, it sort of becomes a weaker connection in that sense. But many times, if the relationship was predominantly based in love, they will come back. The relationship will be formed in a new way, or you will never break up. It will just be a sense of that the relationship transforms. Like maybe there's some difficulties in the beginning, people don't understand where you're coming from, but they're still with you in your life. And then things sort of take shape in a different way. So one thing to remember is that the fifth dimensional vibration of divine love is actually the higher vibration. If you are holding this vibration, or you're moving towards holding this vibration, then this is a higher vibration than what other people around you hold. So naturally it'll become quite the vibration that is higher. Anything else that is around it, any lower vibration, and by lower I don't mean necessarily very bad or anything, just it's not yet divine love. So anything that is not yet divine love around it, divine love will try and sort of give it a hug, sort of encompass it, and it will try to sort of, how do I explain this? It's like, when you have a higher vibration, either other things around it have to align and become that vibration, or they have to move away. So there will have to be some adjusting. There is no way around that. But like I told you, a lot of times people will just find their own way of meeting you where you are. But the most important thing, rather than worrying about other relationships and what other people are choosing and what will happen with them, what we need to worry about is how solid are we in the choice that we have made. So embodying the fifth dimensional vibration, embodying divine love, means making certain choices in your life, choosing certain things, and part of that is knowing what your values are, knowing when is love balanced. You should be able to give and receive love equally in your relationships. So all of your relationships, including the one with your parents, will only really hold once you have become a fifth dimensional being. If you allow for equality, there should be equal giving and receiving. It's not we tend to have this notion that people who are enlightened or people who have hit a certain level of vibration just keep giving and giving, and other people keep taking, and that's their job, and that's not it at all. You will be giving if you hold the fifth dimensional vibration, whoever this is, whichever being does. You will have a lot of wisdom to share. It'll just be your vibration, whether you're speaking or not, and through you, because of that vibration that you hold, the work that you do and the service that you do will be changing everything around you, just by the energy that you hold, by the consciousness that you hold. And that is where you're giving. So even if other people if other people are around you, they also need to give you something in return. So sometimes on the physical level, it can look like you're not giving them as much. So you have to be aware of this. If you're moving into the fifth dimensional vibration, it'll appear as such, that at the physical level, let's say they are providing for me. I'll give you an example. I live with my parents still. I'm in my late 30s and I still live with my parents. And it's a very long story which I can't get into in this short video, but long story short, there were certain things that happened in my early childhood, and because my parents obviously don't hold the same level of divine love as I do, so they did not understand certain things, like I was abused when I was young, and they didn't fully support me. They tried to, but they weren't able to make certain changes, because of this abuser who is a relative of ours. and they still keep in touch with the person. They come to our house and this and that. So as a being who holds divine love, you know, if this were my relative or a child in my family, my reaction would be completely different. You know, my I would understand where this is coming from, what needs to be done, and to not sort of support this in different ways. And this is not about blaming my parents, because I know that many people watching this, especially from India, will say things like, you know, your parents supported you, this and that. And I completely agree. Like, my parents did everything that they could, and this is the reality of when you are moving into the fifth dimensional vibration. Initially it's a bit painful, you know, that the people around me, they don't see life the same way, they won't make the same choices, or they don't love the same way that I do, like, you know, what I would do for them. So this is where you need to understand that let others do what they can for you, you know. So you so my thing was that ultimately I decided that I can't be here, like, you know, if this is what they're choosing, and it's almost like supporting the abuser in some way, and whether that offends me or not is besides the point. Like, maybe I have forgiven them and everything, but still being in that, when that vibration is happening, you know, that's no place for a master. You have to decide that you are the master, and what is right for you, where can you be. So in order for me to be there, in order for me to still have that relationship with my parents, you know, I allow them to take care of me, so I don't pay rent. And you know, in the past maybe I've been motivated to do this when I had the option to, but now it's very different, because I hold a certain level of power and I understand the dynamics. And I remember in the middle there was a time when I wanted to, when I was tempted to sort of do this, to, you know, contribute in this way. And the relationship was actually getting weaker at that time, because I'd already moved into the fifth dimensional vibration and holding it, and there was already, basically at the energy level, at the consciousness level, there's already that work that I'm doing. And so I also need to be given for that, for there to be balance. So all of your relationships will be balanced, otherwise they will not be able to last. So this is the reality of somebody who chooses the fifth dimensional vibration and who holds it. And of course, you know, people outside who don't understand this will be judging it. You know, they might be thinking all kinds of things about you, that you don't do enough or this and that. But there have been so many changes that have happened in my parents' lives ever since, you know, I myself hit a certain level of embodiment and a vibration in the body. And that includes the choices that they make, you know, how they understand nutrition, certain empowered choices that I made that also affected their lives, that later on, you know, they would not have been so empowered to make such a big change, but once it happened, you know, they're happy about it. So these kind of things, and I'm not going to get into the details of what that is, because it'll just make this video really long. But yeah, so this is something that you have to get used to, that people will judge you in their own way, whatever they think, because there's a certain notion of enlightenment that they have, that the world has, you know, that this is what a spiritual being does, this is what they don't do. But you're actually human, and even if you hold the fifth dimensional vibration, you're a human being with your own set of needs, and they also need to be fulfilled, and you don't have to be perfect all the time. At the same time, you know, you hold your own power. So we hold our own power, and you have to you yourself have to remember what balance is, and what divine love is, and what is the give and exchange that happens. So when we embody divine love, we actually have a connection with our higher self, and the higher self directly flows through us and speaks to us. So that is the ultimate authority that we have to trust, rather than, you know, these societal standards and what other people think are wrong and right. And with that, when you embody your higher self, it'll tell you, there'll be, because you already embody balance, this balance of divine love, this perfect balance of the masculine and feminine inside of you. So anything that unbalances that, you cannot be there. It'll make you feel awkward. You just, you know, somehow things will align in such a way that you can't be there. So your body itself will tell you. So you have to assess that through your own intelligence and wisdom, you know, where there is balance in which relationship, like how much to give, what to be able to take, because receiving is an equally important part. You have to be able to receive as much as you give, otherwise you never move into the state of divine love, you never move into enlightenment, you never embody your ascension, you never really become a master. So even if you if you know about the masters of the past, yes, they gave a lot and everything, you know, whatever we know about them, but also they were supported by people, you know, like they didn't have to do these things where they were paying to live, you know, their basic necessities and everything were taken care of because they lived in ashrams, and they were supported by people, because people knew a lot of times the importance of this, the wisdom that they carried. And today's time, every era, it's a different challenge, it's a different way that we live. So the way that we live now, because we are so much a part of society, we're not living in ashrams or going off on our own, there has to be this sense of receiving and this sense of balance. And yeah, you know, the only thing that I can tell you is that divine love is equally having boundaries, as it is about being open and receiving, and receiving and giving love openly, and the balance of that with having firm boundaries, knowing what your values are and what you need to serve, and knowing that anything else I can say no to. So guys, one thing I wanted to add is that, you know, the way that we even move into the fifth dimensional vibration is by making these choices to see everything as love, is to hold our own power. So if our family or friends or partner, whoever is choosing something quite different, is doing things or expecting from us to do things that are no longer aligned with us, then we have to hold our own power. And it's a very internal thing. It's not externally you're making a big noise or you're being rebellious. It's not about that. It's about an internal choice that is very firm. How you express it outwardly depends on the situation that is right, you know. It might be in a way where you have to put your foot down, it might be in a softer way, doesn't matter, but the inner decision needs to be firm. And when you start making such choices in your life, that, you know, my career, my relationships, what I do, my choices, my lifestyle will be aligned with the fifth dimensional vibration, with balance, with love, um, that's when you start becoming the master. So the first step is to make those choices already, despite the fact that the relationships around us are quite different and we're afraid of losing them, we're afraid of what changes might happen, but we have to make those decisions despite that, within our current environment. So that is the first step that happens. It's not the other way around, that first we move into the fifth dimensional vibration and then we have to decide how to handle our relationships. We'll never actually get there unless we are able to make masterful choices within the circumstances that we have now. So I just wanted to add this. I'm not saying that the person asking the question said anything like this. This is a general video, so I'm just giving you this general advice. I just want to say that you know, I've tried to explain as much as I can in this video about how to balance relationships by giving you personal examples. But there's only so much you can do in one video, and I have entire courses on this which are quite affordable, so do check them out. There's one called I think it's called Manifest Soulmate Relationships, that completely is about manifesting divine love, and even Embody the fifth dimensional vibration is about embodying the vibration. Part of it is about relationships and otherwise just in general. So check out those courses below. There's other courses also on relationships that I have. But to answer the last part of this person's question about the soul of these relationships in your life, of your parents, the souls don't change. It's not a copy of your parents' soul that will come into this new reality. It's the same people that are there. It's just that it's the way to think about it is that it's the experience that you are having, the part and the aspect of them that you experience. So for example, if a person you know, like let's say your parents or whoever it is, experiences a different reality from you, like let's say they don't hold as higher vibration, so they're the timeline, the experiences that they're having, the vibration that they hold is different from you, then they will still experience that vibration, because that is what they're choosing, that is what their soul is choosing. But the experience that you have with them, like whichever moments you share with them and what you experience with them, will be your own experience, which will be of a higher vibration. So you're going to meet them during those points a lot of the time when they are also able to create an experience that is harmonious for you. Or if it's not harmonious, then it will be bringing you wisdom in some way, so it'll serve you, it'll serve your fifth dimensional potential. And if they are still having those moments where they're falling into deep fears and this and that, that will not be part of your experience if you hold the fifth dimensional vibration. So it's still the same souls that are there in your life. It's not a copy of their soul or a different aspect of their soul, but you can say that the meeting points that you have, like let's say if you are like this thread, or there's this light ray, you are a light ray and they are a light ray, and there's this intersecting of those light rays, and you know, like the DNA symbol, when you intersect with them, um, those moments are going to be moments of divine love. Still the vibration will be divine love, and by divine love isn't always easy. It just means harmony. It means that everything is always within divine love, um, trying to harmonize. It is in the state of harmony. So those moments when you feel a little bit off balance or something happens, everything that is around you and the people around you will be serving you in one way or another to come back into that balance, to experience divine love, because that's what you've chosen for yourself. So I hope that this clarifies what you asked. Let me see. If I shift into my desired reality, will my parents and family be there and not their copies? Yes, it won't be their copies. It will be very much them. Will the soul of my parents be there in that reality? Yes, it'll be their soul and it'll be your soul. It's just that the experience you have with any soul on this entire planet, that experience you choose. So you can have something can be happening in your reality that is quite unpleasant, but you choose to experience it as God. You choose to experience it as something that is serving you to come into love, that is serving you to experience love, and that is what divine love is. So it's not the souls itself themselves that change, it's your experience of those souls. I hope that this clarified everything. Please leave your comments below if you have further questions. Do check out the courses which really take you step by step into embodying the fifth dimensional vibration and changing your relationships. I don't have a selfie stick today. I forgot it when I came to Bangalore, so my hand is getting tired of holding this camera. But I hope that you enjoyed the view earlier, and subscribe if you're new here. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.